I think the people of Illinois kind of want laws and order, and we don't want people being set on fire. We don't want our children being murdered. We don't want people committing home invasions. And some of those people are illegal immigrants, and they will always be arrested.
Welcome to another episode of Around Will County, December 2025. Today, we have the special pleasure of welcoming back Steve Nelson, one of the OGs of Around Will County. To listen to Steve's previous episodes, please check out our Spotify or Apple Podcast streams. Right now, before you get too engrossed in this episode, please hit the subscribe button so you'll be notified when part 2 of today's episode drops. If you like what you hear, please don't forget to hit the like button and leave us a comment.
All right, here we go. Mid-December 2025 podcast show once again. Dr. Egan, I have to start out by saying you did a great job recovering last podcast. It was a little in and out with the audio and video, but you recovered it. Wonderful IT lady, I'm sure, had a little bit to do with that.
Very little, yeah.
Okay, moving on. Dick Tyler, how you doing, sir?
I don't think I can top that one.
No, nor would you try.
And I know different too.
She'll be cutting his mic off.
Yeah. Yeah. And then our special guest, Steve Nelson. Welcome back, Steve.
One of the OGs
Thanks.
of Around Will County.
OG, yeah, one of our first podcasts. Too.
It was
Yeah.
the first because we did it down at the brewery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite, I have to say. That was a fun day. That was a very fun day.
It was. I had a ball.
Good. So, Doc, what do we got on the agenda for today?
It's a very special episode, their Christmas episode.
All right. Unfortunately, look at this, though, folks. I mean, I don't know if you can see this. I'm dressed up in a suit and a tie just for everybody here in the audience. The memo did not go out to everybody.
And the rest of us that don't have ties really appreciate
Yeah. So,
If I have one, it's probably about 30 years old.
yeah. So good. So
Another question that I have for our esteemed guest. You are now an expatriate of Will County, right?
Yeah, for the most part. We're still, we jump back and forth 2 or 3 times a year. We bought a place in South Carolina, and we like it. It seems like more and more time we spend down there. You come back home. It's so nice to come back just to see the family and the kids. We got grandkids, and do these podcasts and see my buddies and stuff. And we'll stay all winter probably, and then go back down for a couple of months, and then come back, spend usually the summer here too, because the kids got all kinds of things going on and that type of stuff. Then we'll head back down for the fall. So we split time. It's nice.
Nice.
very nice.
You don't want to spend the winter here?
Winters don't bother me that much. A lot of times when you get older, I remember both my grandparents always said, I just hated winters. They hated them here, but neither one of them would ever leave. They stayed anyway. And now that we're that age, and we have the opportunity to leave, but I don't know. I don't mind it. And the kids are in school, so just like this weekend, one of my granddaughters has a cheerleading thing she's doing, and the week after, the other granddaughter, she's got gymnastics things going on. So it's nice to be here when they're in school because they got so many things going on. And then come again summer, they always got all these things going on. So we kind of split it where when there's not as much going on, we're out of here and we'll go back down to South Carolina and spend time down there.
Yeah. Well, I have to kind of reflect back 25, 30 years. It does seem like the winters were a little more harsh.
Oh, yeah.
Is that not true? I mean, have we?
This is
I'll let the older gentleman here talk about this, but
I think to me, this is more like what I used to consider a normal winter.
Yeah. I remember when we were kids, you were always ice skating by Christmas, always. And you ice skated all winter. And anymore, at the last couple of winters, nothing even froze hardly.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not as the same as it used to be.
And then to that note, I have to tell you, earlier today, I got into my son's truck, and what a difference between a 2025 heated steering wheel, heated seats, The heat worked immediately versus my dad's 1958 Ford station wagon with the cracked windshield.
Yeah.
Probably didn't heat up or quite have the comfort level that we have today to get
Especially
through the
when
winter.
you're sitting inside the house and you look out and go pop, pop,
Yeah,
pop, pop,
yeah,
and that thing starts for 5
Mhm.
minutes. You walk out, seat's all hot, steering wheel's hot,
Yes,
the windows are all clean.
Yeah, a little different from what I remember as a kid.
One of the worst things that can happen to you in the morning is you go out to your car and you forgot to turn it on 5 minutes before. And then then you're thrust back to 1990 again.
Oh, well, I'm still driving a 12-year-old Mustang that I have to go out there and start and warm up. And so I'm trying to catch up to you guys. That's for sure. Somebody just bought a new Subaru and he loves it too.
You don't want to get me going.
We're going to get bad feedback from Subaru.
I mean, it's got a lot of good attributes.
What are those?
It's got a great, give me a couple of minutes here and I'll come up with something. It rides very nice. I mean, it's a very nice riding car. But in fairness to Subaru, Honda, I used to have a Honda Accord hybrid. Love the car, except it sits so low. And as you get older, it's harder to get in and out of it, especially when you got a couple artificial hips in you. But so I went to an SUV, and with hybrids, and Dr. Egan can probably attest to this, they don't give you a spare tire. My wife has a Toyota RAV4 hybrid, and she, for some reason, maybe because it's a 2019, she has a spare tire. The donut type probably, but still, it's a spare tire. But in my Honda Accord hybrid, I had a flat tire when I went to see Jim one time.
And I let him down.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
I wasn't there for him.
So they always say, if you have a flat tire, just call this number, and we'll take care of it. So here you are out in the middle of no man's land, and you call this number and you get somebody overseas, probably great people, but you have a hard time understanding them, as far as the dialects.
But now, in fairness to Subaru, they probably figure none of their clients would really know how to change a tire. The people who drive that kind of car are a little more, No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I know.
You got Subaru who works for you. Yes. Yeah, Joe.
They're supposed to be a very, very reliable.
They are.
Really good car.
And safe.
They are.
And safe.
Yeah.
I haven't had it but 6,000 miles now,
Yeah.
so the honeymoon's still on.
And they're safe. They don't go over 45 miles an hour. I mean,
I've already had one flat tire already. They got a little compressor with a can of sealant. Okay. But if you put sealant into the tire, which you got to do because there's no spare, or call a tow truck, which, how long do you want to wait for that? The fact is, if you take that tire in and you say, oh, it's just got a little tiny, tiny little nail or piece of metal, so you can just plug the tire, for usually it's like $10-20 or something like that. Not anymore. If you use sealant in that tire,
the sensor, it ruins the sensor.
It ruins the sensor, but even without that, it's like we'd have to clean all that sealant out, and it ruins the integrity of the tire. And I'm like,
I'll be there.
So what's this mean? It's like, means $240, buddy, for a new tire. I said, are you kidding me? Every time I get a little nail or something in this, I got to buy a new tire.
Well, how old was the car that you had before you had to buy a new tire?
I think about it. Yeah, he's rubbing it in. I don't think I had 600-700 miles on it, maybe.
I love that Subaru.
Yeah, I love that Subaru.
So, what a great car. Hey, I got to back up a little bit if we could, if you don't mind. I know we don't have really a schedule here today, but I do want to give a shout out to law enforcement in Will County, especially Joliet Police Department, Will County Sheriff's Police Department. Back just a few days ago, I believe it was Wednesday, we had a home invasion up in Homer Glen. Couple individuals out of the city grabbed a 73-year-old lady and at gunpoint got her in her house and tied her up and robbed her. And presumably maybe the same individuals did the same thing yesterday in Lamont. And just three bad people from, and not to pick on Chicago. We all know how much we love Chicago and there's no crime there. But then they did the same thing in Lamont. Luckily, law enforcement, I have to give a shout out again to Joliet Police Department, Will County Sheriff's Department, investigators were out there, just did a fantastic job through the use of some really good police work. Can you imagine? They located these guys within one day, and there was a pursuit. They tried to take off, and through coordinated efforts, all three were taken into custody. And hopefully that little reign of terror is over. But what a great job by law enforcement. They worked together. They did a great job. And I really just want to give my brothers and sisters a shout out for a great job. That was a great job.
And you maybe can't answer this, but it just seems to me with some car thefts and different things going on, it seems like a lot of the perpetrators are not necessarily from Will County, but they come out of Chicago.
Well, boss, no, I will answer that because I think you're right. It's not that we don't have our fair share of knuckleheads down in Will County, but there seems to be, it says closer to the mic, Dick.
Okay.
But they come down out of Chicago.
Yeah.
And he spelled Mike wrong too. But no, they're down here. And look, Homer Glenn is Mayberry of Illinois, and these knucklehead criminals are down there picking on people that they probably feel are easy prey. 73-year-old lady, right? And they're coming down out of the city. And now hopefully these three will be charged. We are all anxiously awaiting to see if the Safety Act will hold them accountable or if they'll be out on the street. For all I know, they might be out on the street already. And
they should have probably been in jail before this.
Well, yeah, I think we're going to find out. I think I did read an article, very lengthy criminal history.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, that's usually the way it is.
Yeah.
They know they can get away with it.
Yeah.
The problem is they came down to Will County, and now maybe you guys have a little bit different situation. You might be able to keep them in jail here.
Well, it's funny because you start in Cook County and, nobody goes to jail basically.
Yeah.
And then Will County's a little better, but a lot left to be desired, I can assure you. But you get down to Grundy County, that's where you still go to jail and people are held accountable. So it's funny how different counties enforce laws, and I'm sure some of that is financial.
Jim Glasgow was actually on terrestrial radio this morning.
And what did he say?
He was,
doing a
saying
good job?
that Will County is all against the Safety Act.
Jim is, and I'm going to give Jim Glasgow.
Yes.
He's a Democrat. So, I mean, I got to be careful.
His party dictates.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much good about him. He's a Democrat. But no, Jim's actually a great guy.
Yeah.
He does fight and very vocal against the Safety Act. And I've worked by his side being vocal against the Safety Act. And I think Jim definitely 100% is well intended and does a great job. Hopefully he can find some more supporters and, be even more vocal going forward about this Safety Act.
Yeah.
That worthless governor we have, J.B. Pritzker, who's just a terrible, terrible governor.
He's shooting for Washington.
He's shooting for Washington. He don't care about
Illinois. This is a
Illinois.
stepping stone.
Yeah. But I think he did finally come out the other day and say, well, there might be room for improvement or changes. How many people have been killed and murdered and,
set on fire?
Well, you set on fire. Well, that knucklehead, tries this social experiment, the liberal agenda.
Yeah.
Just a complete failure. And if we reelect that J.B. Pritzker come up next year, the people of Illinois get what they deserve. That's all I'm going to say. If you can't, we have some great Republican candidates. So. And if you reelect that J.B. Pritzker, you get what you deserve in this state.
I think that a lot of people in that milieu walk around in their marble floors of Congress and the State House, and they're isolated from the real world.
Yes.
So in theory, on paper, a lot of things look good, but then when you go into the real world, into the middle of the city, there are people with antisocial personality disorder that you can't help.
Right.
They need to be removed from polite society for a long, long time.
100%. And, this is a little bit before my time, but they closed a large number of the mental hospitals, right? So these people are out on the street. Now they're committing these criminal acts. I mean, you got to be a special kind of person with some mental health issues to walk up and light a young girl on fire, right? I mean, that is not the person that should ever, ever be in society again, as far as I'm concerned.
Correct.
And unfortunately, do we even have any mental health resources for a person like that?
A jail.
Yeah.
Limited.
A jail. Well, no, a jail. You're right. You're exactly right.
Very
we talk
limited.
about,
we were in Washington touring around the Capitol. It's probably been about 5 years ago. And there was one of the guys that was at the front door of one of the museums we went into. And, Washington had a lot of homeless and there was people wacky walking around. You could just tell that, I mean, they needed to be put somewhere. They didn't need to be out and about.
You talking about the Democrats now or other people?
I don't know who they were,
No,
but
I'm just
you
kidding,
could tell.
I do pick on the Democrats,
with
but I'm just kidding.
with Washington, they're so, they don't want to make anybody mad about anything, so they let everything slide. And when I went inside, this guard that was standing there, he's like, "Yeah, this guy's a problem." And I said, "Why don't you guys take care of it?" And he goes, "We can't do anything about it." And he says, "We can't do anything to the guy." He said, "We have no way of. What are we going to do with him?" So there's no places to put these guys anymore. He said, and I don't know if it's true or not, but he said when Ronald Reagan was in office, he did a lot of clean house on a lot of different things, and one of them was where you used to have these mental hospitals that if you came in and you were, mentally unfit to be out there, you got chucked in one of those for a while, and then at least they would see what your case is, and if you needed to be in prison, you'd put you in prison. But he said anymore that those are almost all gone. So that's why when you go to Chicago or we were out in LA and San Francisco a few years ago. Oh my
Terrible,
God, you talk
terrible.
about a disaster. They're everywhere. There's just people laying around everywhere. And you can just tell by looking at them. They're not mentally
Mm.
capable of carrying on life like me and you might be able to. But where do you go with them?
Right.
You
I
know,
don't know what you're doing.
What would you attribute that to, Steve? As far as economics is why we don't have more mental
Well,
health
I
facilities?
think like in
Or
a
is it
state like California, especially them in Chicago and these places that do have these left-wing liberals running everything, nobody goes to jail. So that's part of the problem. A lot of these people are out there doing things and they just don't put them in jail anymore. And if they do, they're out in a heartbeat and then they just go right back and doing the same thing. And if they don't have jobs and they can't capably just go about running their lives naturally, you're either going to steal or you're going to lay on the street or you're doing drugs. You go into that bad pattern of bad behavior. Everything's bad. It's all bad. And if you don't have somewhere where you can at least try to help these people out or get them off the street and put them somewhere where they can get some mental health issues, maybe somebody like it used to be where they could at least maybe try to help them somewhat. But I don't think we've got too many things in place to do that.
So I'm sure it does come down to money, right? Who has the
I
money
would
and the
think
resources
so.
to make that happen? But let me point out, do you guys know about Tent City? Have you heard of Tent City in Joliet? Yeah, I was there just about a week ago looking for an individual who committed a crime.
Was this on the east side?
It's on the east side, and it's
Cass.
basically on Cass Street. Yep, and there's individuals. I'm going to assume they have mental health issues, but they are literally living in tents. I mean, a tent, and they're out there in that cold weather, and they put up campers, and they collect garbage, and they collect stuff, and it's a little shanty town, if you will. And we're there looking for a guy, and we call out a name, and these tents start opening up, and it was a cold winter night, and there's people living in these tents underneath a viaduct, and I thought, is this society? Is this what we've done? We allow these people live like that? Is that right? So don't sometimes when I hear this bleeding liberal heart, oh, what can we do with these people? We don't want to put them in jail. Okay, so let's put them in a tent underneath the viaduct in below freezing weather. I mean, don't always play that we're doing them harm by putting them in a facility where they're fed and heat and nutrition
and many times there is beds available at the local shelters and warming centers, but they have rules. You have to not do drugs. You have to not assault other people. You have to keep your hands to yourself. And they don't want to play by the rules.
Right. And that was, of course, the immediate response when I got to an individual said, why do you live like this? And he's, well, I've been kicked out of the shelter. And I didn't elaborate, but you're exactly right. I'm assuming he didn't play by the rules, whatever that was, no alcohol or no drugs or, So, I mean, I don't know. People have mental health issues, and I think society has an obligation to house those people and feed them and keep them in the warmth. And
I'd sure rather see tax money going for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Than like Chicago spending millions and millions upon millions of dollars for illegal aliens that are up there. giving them free credit cards, free this, free that, everything's free. Here's all free money all day long. And then you got some poor guy that's living in a tent that's a United States citizen that could be using that money. They could be helping those folks out. And they're not doing that.
Steve,
They don't vote.
what a great point. Not only might they be a U.S. citizen, but some of those individuals are going to be our veterans who maybe came back
A
from
lot
the
of them
war.
are.
And maybe they've been
Yep.
had some issues. So no, for the liberal agenda to open up our country and our state to the tune of $2.5 billion in Illinois for illegal immigrants. There again, I'm sorry. I love America and I love immigration and I love people that are here to do the right thing. But we can't kill the host, so to speak. And that's probably my concern. Where's that money come from to take care of 4.5 million new immigrants?
They don't have the money. That's why they're raising taxes up there again.
There you
Everybody's screaming about their property taxes going up 80%. And there you go.
Yeah.
Got to get the money from somewhere.
And then we have J.B. Pritzker, right? Just signed that bill where now illegal immigrants can go to school and free health care and free education.
It's not free.
Oh, no, doctor, it's free. It said on that, I read it in the newspaper, it's free.
Not free.
Oh, I don't know what he means by that, Dick. That's what it said.
The media'd be all over it if there was something wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe Fox.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, but anyhow, I just want to say thank you to my brothers and sisters in law enforcement, JPD, Will County, the investigators and the uniformed guys and patrol guys. We had a couple different canine guys. Fantastic job yesterday. I just couldn't say enough great things about them. And thank you guys for doing a good job. You did us proud.
I have a quick question. One maybe you can or cannot answer. How does it work with, say, the police, law enforcement in the various counties, not just Will County, but Grundy and Kendall, with the Cook County, Chicago police? Do they work together as far as like if you need information, do they share it? Or is it kind of like this, like the ICE agents where they're kind of instructed, no, this is our domain and we don't work? Is there a pretty good working relationship, I guess?
Yeah, 100%. No,
Yeah.
the local law
Okay.
enforcement between Chicago and Will County and Bolingbrook and, Shannon, and no, they all
Pretty decent.
they
Okay.
collaborate and work together and share information together, and they're all on the same side. We do
Okay.
a great job together. There again, our federal law enforcement officers in ICE, again, they're under attack a lot for out there. There's laws. We have laws in America, and that's called a free society. And ICE is out there doing what laws are written. And I agree, some of the tactics are hard to watch, but blame Biden for that. Blame Kamala Harris for that, for opening up our borders and just allowing unchecked up to 20 plus million people walk across our border. I guarantee you 100% there are terrorist cells in America right now that are planning to do us harm. Think about what I just said.
Yep.
Our own government allowed 20 million people unchecked, undocumented into our country, into our borders. They're living in New York. They're living in Boston. They're living in Minneapolis. They are here to do our country harm. Our country, America, is going to fall from within. We will never be bombed from Russia. We will never be bombed from Iran. If America collapses in the next 20, 25 years, it's going to be from within and the weak-minded government that allows it to happen. And I know some of the tactics we're seeing with ICE are hard to watch. I agree. They're hard to watch, but we have to get immigrants, that are here to do us harm out of our country.
Okay.
So we're getting another note from IT. Says,
I think
Jim?
she's going to tell you to stop playing with your mic stand.
ooh. I had a nickel for every time I heard that. So, okay. So we can move on. What else we got there, Dick? What's on your mind?
Just how the county's doing from a financial standpoint. I mean, the budget was a big brouhaha there, it seemed, for a while.
Dr. Egan, you did a great job. Dan Butler last week was here on our show and just a great guy, smart guy. But
Good guy. Doing his best.
Yeah.
Doing-
And what do you think?
Working hard. I think that they came together and finally got it through that we will use some of that $94 million for the $2 million overage,
Okay.
which I'm all for that without raising my taxes more.
Yeah.
My taxes will be going up enough for covering all the free stuff.
Yeah. It's still going to have to explain it to me. It said free in the headline. It said free healthcare.
I
Free
think the
education.
teachers work for free, and
Yeah.
yeah.
You got to move to South Carolina.
That's the problem. They are.
That's where everybody's
Yeah, that's the problem. You bring up a good point.
Florida,
LIJ
Georgia,
Yeah.
South Carolina, North Carolina. It's the neighborhood we live in. We met probably a half a dozen, maybe 7, 8 couples that live pretty close to us. 4 of them are from Illinois.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Illinois, all from the Chicagoland area. Said they had enough. Had enough. As soon as they could get the heck out, they were gone.
Yeah.
And they were looking for other places like South Carolina where the taxes are.
Okay, let's answer that real quick. You got a moderately priced home here in Will County, and your taxes are 10, 12 grand?
Well, no, because we're in Wilmington, so we're still a lot better. If you get up to, I have a son that lives in Manhattan, and he's got a 3-bedroom house. It's a nice house. It's nothing spectacular. He's paying over $12,000,
Okay.
and just in his property taxes.
That same house in South Carolina, what do you think?
Well, it's the house we have in South Carolina, same thing, 3 bedrooms, probably a little bigger than his. It's in a very nice neighborhood. We have a boat dock. It's on a lake. And I think we pay, Tina takes care of that, not me, but I think it's like $2,200 or something like
22.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
1/6.
But my
like the
2-bedroom house in Wilmington, 1,800 square feet, built in 1967, is nothing it's just a nice house. And I think ours is up to 6,000 now. And in Wilmington, it wasn't that terribly long ago. If you went into Brookside, some of the smaller houses, they were $800-900,
Mhm.
and they're all $3,000-4,000 now too. I think our taxes went up last year $500, and the year before they went up $300 or $400. And this year it'll probably be the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're nickel and diming you; they're nailing you almost every year. And the only thing you ever hear is, oh, well, we got to fund the pensions. Oh, well, we got to take care of Chicago. Oh, well, we got, we're going to have the best roads in the world. Well, no, we don't. They steal all that money. We have the highest, I think, gasoline tax in the country. We go down there and we're paying 60 to 80 cents a gallon less in fuel costs in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Where they don't have all the taxes built onto the top of it. And you have a lot less restrictions down there. If you, just like an example, if somebody comes in the neighborhood and wants to build a new house, in Wilmington, it's probably going to cost you $5,000-6,000 just in fees, and maybe more than that. Because I haven't built anything in a long time. I had somebody the other day tell me, "Oh yeah, it cost you like $14,000 to build a house in Wilmington."
Oh, easy. I would not be surprised.
There, it's a quarter of that. You can build $1 million house in South Carolina, and you built that same house here, it would be spectacular. Where it's just when you go to a different state and you see how they run things, you see how the governor keeps his fingers out of everything. They allow a lot more freedom there. Same thing with the police. The police, if they're arresting you for something, it's probably because you did something really stupid.
Yeah.
Otherwise they let most things just kind of slide. Things just kind of roll. And it's a more comfortable way of living. You don't have all the crime. If you are a criminal, you go to jail, and they actually keep you in jail there. Where here you come back home, and it's all you hear on the news every night. It's we don't even watch the Chicago news while we're down there, and we can. We have the channel to watch it, and Tina will watch it every once in a while. She goes, I don't know why I even watch the Chicago news. It's so bad that it's nothing but killings, robbings, carjackings, and they don't even report the really bad stuff. They hide all of it. And you get to a different state like Florida and South Carolina and these places, and it's a whole different way of life compared to when you come back here and you watch the news and you go, okay, what are they going to nail us with next? It's like Doc has here on his list to talk about a couple of things that our buddy Pritzker slid through the state, and the state house slid him through without telling anybody about it. And, that's the kind of stuff that goes on back here now. It's all secretive. They don't want you to know about it. They're raising all your taxes. They're raising all your fees. They're making life much tougher on you here because they need money to take care of the illegals and all the mismanagement of Chicago that we got to take care of. And why don't you tell them
Well,
just a couple of the things here, Doc, that they've
let me
pulled.
lead into it. It is
Okay.
nothing short of corruption, right? It is corruption. When your bills that you're passing through the Illinois House or the Illinois Senate have to be hidden and passed at 3 a.m, that is corruption.
I wouldn't call this isn't corruption. This
Okay.
is just malfeasance.
Malfeasance.
Because there's not, I don't know if there's
It's a
any.
fine line, I think, between the two.
Yeah.
Well, corruption is when my idea of corruption is they're taking money out of our pockets.
Or an immoral act. If you have to pass something at 3 a.m. without educating the public that, hey, we're doing this for your benefit, we're going to do it at 3 a.m. so we can cover it up and hide it on the tail of some other bill, I call that immoral. I don't know.
And then the
Immoral.
Chicago,
Immoral.
they don't cover any of that. You
No.
watch Chicago news, they never said anything about any of that stuff going on.
No.
You never hear about it.
What are you
And-
talking about there, Doctor?
Well, these are just some things that were brought up by Center Square covers it very nicely. And anybody can go to ilga.gov, where it goes through all of the bills that are on deck and to be voted and to be signed by the governor. Like the POW MIA Recognition Day.
So that was
It's a wonderful thing, right?
That was a bill.
There's a bill.
And what was it?
The POW MIA Recognition Day was House Bill 1312.
Sounds like a great bill. I
Sounds like a
it.
great bill.
Right?
Yeah.
Who would not want to recognize?
Passed the House unanimously in April of 2025.
Sure, it should have.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
who would be against
No,
POW MIA Recognition Day?
great idea. But wait,
It went to the Senate
Yeah.
and they read it twice and passed those two, but it has to be read 3 times
Okay.
before you can actually vote on the bill to pass it.
okay.
Well, the third reading wasn't until October 30th, I believe, which is the day.
25.
Yeah, the day that they were supposed to be done.
Okay.
The only problem was it really didn't have anything to do with POW MIAs. It just expanded the Trust Act and created civil liabilities to law enforcement officers dealing with illegal aliens.
So wait, they switched the body of the bill, or
Yes.
they actually switched language
Yes.
to same headline, but
So much for
completely.
Same name of the
transparency.
bill.
And you don't call that corruption?
It was argued at 2:00 in the morning.
Well,
I think it passed at 3:00 in the morning on
Right.
31st.
wow.
And it made, now hospitals, higher education schools, childcare have to have written policies on how they deal with law enforcement if they come on the premises, because they can't have to shield. I don't know if they have to shield the illegal aliens from the law enforcement, or they can have to make sure the law enforcement can't deal with the illegals.
So let me just address that a little bit. Local law enforcement does not have any legal authority to make immigration arrest. If you're here in the country illegally, that is a federal crime. Local law enforcement, state, municipality cannot enforce any federal illegal immigration. I can't arrest somebody for being here illegally. It's not within my state scope of arrest powers.
That's true of all 50 states. Or is that just Illinois?
Well, probably not. Probably not. I'm assuming there might be some states where local law enforcement does cooperate with ICE and hold people, because that's when we're starting to talk about detainers. Illegal immigrants can have a detainer attached to them. Now, that might mean that ICE would like them. They would like to talk to them. Now, that could be as far as they're in the country illegally, or maybe had a court date, they missed their court date. Maybe they were convicted of a crime in the country they came from, but they didn't disclose that. But they're in our country. ICE found out about it later. So they might put a detainer on that person, basically saying, hey, we'd like to talk to that person. We can't enforce that either underneath the Trust Act, which was put into effect by Governor Rauner, a Republican.
Was he really a Republican?
That'd be a whole nother podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. But we can arrest, I don't care who you are. If you're an illegal immigrant and you have an arrest warrant, I'll go in a hospital. I'll go in a school. I'll go anywhere you are to make that arrest. If you have an arrest warrant, and that's signed by a judge saying you need to be arrested and brought to that judge. So for Governor J.B. Pritzker to put this type of, I believe you called it malfeasance, out there, that law enforcement can't go on a school, can't go on a hospital to make arrest is false information. We can't go to affect immigration law or enforce immigration law because we have no authority. Now, ICE can. Federal law enforcement officers, ICE, can. Governor Pritzker can sign all the bills, write all. He does not supersede federal law. Federal law enforcement officers can go into that school. They can go, and he's trying to write a law saying,
Well, he
they'll
also
be
made
arrested.
it the law enforcement officers would be civilly liable.
Yes. So again, what he
So
is
they
trying
can
to
be
do,
sued for
Yeah.
yeah,
going in and
if
making
I
a
did,
wrong arrest.
and that
And the
probably would
hospital
be,
could get sued, or the university could get sued, or
Yeah.
the daycare center could
Yeah.
get sued.
Pretty heavy
yeah.
if you're a police officer.
Well, what he's
It-
doing is he playing to the
Yeah.
sympathy of the liberal agenda, right? I mean, this has always been the case. This, and I haven't read the law other than what you're telling me. This has always been there. He didn't really change anything, but he's playing to the liberal left, presumably to get elected again. Maybe he thinks it's popular to support this illegal immigration movement. I think he's on the wrong side of the agenda. I think he's going to lose if he stays with that agenda. I think the people of Illinois kind of want laws and order, and we don't want people being set on fire. We don't want our children being murdered. We don't want people committing home invasions. And some of those people are illegal immigrants, and they will always be arrested. If we had a right governor, maybe a more conservative governor, they could work with ICE. And I want to just let me clean this up, and I'll turn this back over to you. We have people who are locked up both at county jails and state jails, state prisons, that might have detainers on them. They might be people that came into the country illegally. Now they got locked up for a crime. They're in a county jail or a state prison. And now ICE wants to remove them from our country because maybe they committed criminal acts here. Maybe it was found out after the fact that they committed criminal acts back in their home country, and they never would have been able to come to our country. They shouldn't be here. So the problem we have right now is our state governor will not allow us to pick up the phone and call ICE and say, hey, we have a guy in the jail. He's going to be released on Monday. He could be wanted for murder in Mexico, but we can't tell ICE to come get this guy. We have to release him. He walks down the street, he goes back home, and then now you're seeing ICE officers chase this guy down the street. And that's where you're seeing people saying, oh, I don't like those tactics. Well, if you don't like the tactics you're seeing out there, then allow local law enforcement to work with ICE and remove these people from the jail, from the prison, right into ICE custody, instead of allowing them to go free and back into our communities. That's where the confusion lies. When Governor J.B. Pritzker does this nonsense of changing bills and writing laws, and these corrupt politicians who allow him to do that, they need to be held accountable.
And isn't another part of that story too, when they get released back into the wild, they go back to their home area or their
Wherever they're living.
local, wherever they're living, where there may be other people that have been here for years and years and years, working at the local whatever,
Yeah.
have been outstanding citizens,
Yes,
doing everything all in well, but they don't have the proper paperwork.
sure.
So
can't-
then ICE goes into that domicile and
Take one, take them all.
yeah,
No, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because there are a number of people in this country, a number of people in this state, a number of people in Will County who are good, hardworking people. And they probably have been here maybe without the right paperwork. And I think we all would agree some of those people we would like to have stay in our country, that they are working and productive individuals. But when you allow the other corrupt individuals back into that environment, that's when take one, take them all. And ICE says if we show up and there's 5 people in that room that don't have the right paperwork, they don't really care if you're 2 or 200.
Right.
You're going with them. Now, I'd like to think that's handled, appropriately, but we've all seen the Channel 7 news.
Time and economics probably have a lot to do with it, where they're forced to paint with a broad brush and cast aspersions on the legal, hardworking immigrants that are in here, and maybe they have a minor infraction. And this is something that Congress should come up with better immigration laws or initiate laws that would deal with that particular situation.
Well, we have the laws. So I'm always a bit frustrated when, this is the Chicago gun law, right? We need more laws to control the gun. We have plenty of damn laws. So let me tell you, how about we enforce the laws we have?
Yeah.
And let me just back up a little bit. And I couldn't help, I think it was AOC the other day, who is, I think, a congresswoman up in Minneapolis, who got up and said the Somalian people will answer to me. They do not answer to the U.S. government.
Whoa. Yikes.
Does anybody want to step back
Elon
and take?
Omar.
Yeah.
Was that her?
I think
Yeah, it
it's
was
her.
her.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to take a minute to step back and realize what she just said? She just said Somalian
She
has,
campaigned under that.
they
and
have
she
their
was
country.
elected.
They have their rule in Minneapolis. America, you better damn well wake up. If we allow this to happen, if we allow this to fester, they have flat out said American laws don't apply to them. We've allowed these people into our soil, into our country. Where do you think our children are going to be in 50 years? I mean, really, the ignorance of some people that allow this to happen and don't understand what's happening in our country right now can be very concerning.
And the lack of, or the apathy is the big thing. I mean, it's like voter turnout. You see 20, 25 people turn out at an election, and then you complain later, why do we have somebody like maybe our current governor, for instance? It's because nobody turns out and casts a vote. You don't even have to go in to the voting booth. You can mail in your ballots. They even pay the postage for the mailing in of the ballot. So there's really no excuse.
The
other than
Democrats have been very
apathy.
good about making sure that it's easy to come and
Yep.
vote. And you can tell it. They've been winning all these elections, and this whole thing with the Somalis and everybody else, they're allowed all these people in for one reason.
Why?
Votes.
100%.
It's
Steve.
all votes.
100%.
They know these people will vote for them. And they're going in states like Illinois that are all liberal and going, well, let's just all give them all driver's license. Let's just all pass all these rules that allow these people, even though they're not United States citizens, to go vote. And that's
Yes.
where they wanted to push all this stuff. And if they'd have stayed in power, that's exactly where it was going.
Well, it's not to say it won't come back. And I think we've even seen that in law enforcement, where they arrested an Illinois law enforcement officer who was in our country illegally.
Really?
Because Governor Pritzker has now allowed illegal immigrants or people with legal immigration status to be law enforcement officers. I'm dead set against that. You need to be a U.S. citizen to be a law enforcement officer. And anybody
should
you have a loyalty to your country. And the people who are here flying their flags, even though they're from that's their loyalty to their country. And I respect that. I admire that. There's a day and a place for it. I fly my Irish flag on St. Patrick's Day. But the other 364 days of the year, you're seeing an American flag. That's what belongs on American soil. And if you can't come into our country and our culture and start to assimilate to the American way, then you need to go back to wherever you came from, your country, and change what you want to do back in your country and stay the hell out of America. It's a Catholic country. On our currency, it says, "In God we trust." And if you can't assimilate it to that, then you need to go back to where you came from and live in your country, because this is America.
But their country, the rest of the people don't pay for their food and shelter and healthcare and schools. And
we're the land of the free. Free
Yes.
money, free this, free housing, free everything. They did pass some kind of a rule down in South Carolina where when you go in to vote, it's not like here where it's just fly by night and God only knows who's voting. The old, what was it, the old adage in Chicago? What was it? Vote and vote often or something.
Early vote twice or something.
Yeah. Because their elections are always so corrupt up in Chicago. They got one person voting for everybody on the block. And I know not too long ago, my son was living with us, and the state sent me and Tina his voting
record.
No, they just sent like he was still living there.
Oh, sure.
So he could just vote.
Sure.
And we're like, oh, they don't know who's voting.
No.
For
right.
that.
No.
that particular person. So in South Carolina, they did pass something. I don't remember exactly what all the wording was, but it was basically to cut that kind of crap out.
Sure.
You got to show up at the voting box. You can do mail in down there, I think, but we voted down there a couple of times, and there's long lines. People go and vote, and you got to show your driver's license, another ID besides the driver's license to prove who you are and all that good stuff. And they make sure that you're not just some guy living over there. You're going to slide in and vote. It's you're not going to get away with that.
All right.
But in states like Illinois, they just seem to let a lot of that kind of stuff slide. They don't want. They're trying to push it so that anybody just go in and vote.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, because they know it's in their favor. They just let in all these millions and millions of Democratic voters.
It's in your favor, especially when you're in control.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you write the law and you write how it's enforced or maybe not enforced. Of course, that's in your favor.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you got another bill there, Doctor? I'm sorry. Did we?
I'm sure there were more, but these were the couple that stood out. Another one was Senate Bill 1950, the Sanitary Food Preparation Bill. I believe that I can't remember the exact details, but it has something to do with anybody storing, distributing, preparation food that will be intended for the public has to comply with something or other. Sounds like a really good
That's
idea.
a good idea. Don't you
Good
think,
idea.
Dave? Yeah, we should. Yeah.
Again, on the 30th, it was gutted and replaced and said that now you can kill yourself, medically assisted suicide bill.
Wait, not even remotely connected.
Wait, food preparation.
Maybe
bill?
they want botulism in the food.
I was just thinking that.
I don't know.
So come on, Doctor. You have that background. What is the assisted
I don't
suicide
know.
bill?
I think that is Dr. Kevorkian, where if you are in a state of, if you have terminal cancer, terrible pain, ALS, something, and there's no hope, instead of having to suffer, that you can go to a doctor that does this kind of stuff, and then they give you the medications to go home and kill yourself.
Well, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you have an opinion?
I do.
And?
I think that's not right.
Why?
Because there's plenty of available methods right now for comfort care in hospice. Hospice is wonderful.
Yeah.
Those people have a special place in heaven.
Yeah, they sure do. Yeah, shout out to hospice,
make people comfortable. Everybody's going to die at some point,
Mhm.
except for Brian Johnson. You've been following him on the internet.
Brandon, you mean Johnson?
No, Brian Johnson.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, he's going to live forever. He's got all these life hack things to help with mitochondrial support, and he does light therapy and takes handfuls of vitamins and supplements and sleeps an exact amount of time and eats the exact foods.
He'll get run over by a car.
Yeah.
Is he on
Hey, just go to Chicago. Somebody will shoot him up there.
Yeah, go walk around Chicago and tell me how that vitamin's working out for you.
Uh-huh.
This sounds like an info channel commercial.
I believe that his he and Mike they're trying to live long enough to make it to the singularity where AI will download your brain into the cloud and you be put into a virtual world.
Sounds
and
like
you
Star
could
Trek.
live forever.
Well,
And they think
Star
that
Trek
it's
as that is.
they think that it's about 10 years away.
Yeah, I can't help but wonder if we're not there.
Well,
I mean,
we're
gonna be there. Gonna be there.
We're not. Depending upon who you ask, we're not to artificial general intelligence yet, but that you have to be to super intelligence by the time you get to that point. So that I think we're looking at 15 years, maybe. AGI, couple of years.
Yeah,
and that's when we lose all our jobs.
I don't want to go too far too quick, but what is Grok? I was telling Steve about Grok.
It's a large language model, ChatGPT kind of thing.
And which version have you shown me that's rather funny to mess with?
I am particular to the unhinged version.
Unhinged.
I put that one on.
Yeah, that's it.
It's pretty.
Do you go to the unhinged?
Jim was telling me about it the other day, and I don't know what that is.
My wife hates it.
Which means it's awesome.
Hates it.
Yes, and she's awesome.
I mean,
yeah, right.
I know I like that one a lot because
I
it talks to you. It's pretty cool. You ask them a question, and all of a sudden it's talking back to
it's
you, telling
you
you.
can hear you on a conversation.
Yeah,
with
you'll
it.
ask it another question. Oh yeah, I can do that for you. Let me do it. And then, was that good enough for you, or can I do some more? What would you like to have happen? I'm like, holy cow, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I go to that now instead of Google.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So who really is Grok? Is there someone behind it
Grok is a supercomputer, probably in Memphis.
controlled by?
XAI.
Oh, it's got to be female
Elon
for sure
Musk.
because they know everything, right?
But the unhinged version uses very salty language. Uses
Totally cool.
a lot of sexual innuendos.
If you're in the high school locker room humor, you have to go to Unabridged Grok.
Unhinged.
Unhinged. It's
Yeah.
hilarious. Yeah.
Is it a different app altogether, or
No,
can you get it out of that?
Well,
That's where that's
When we're
yeah,
done here
okay.
today, we'll
Yeah, we're gonna have to find out for sure.
show you how
Wouldn't
that
there
works.
be a huge amount of power behind someone, whether it be Elon Musk or whoever, that has control of that?
Well, there's
As
part of
far as
there's part of the problem.
Influencing people?
I believe Gemini was made by Google. Grok is Elon Musk. Gemini is Google. ChatGPT is Sam Altman. Then there's Perplexity. There's Claude. There's a bunch of these AI companies that are out there, and they're all trying to race to artificial general intelligence first. The Chinese have their version, which I forgot the name of it.
It's in Chinese.
Um, but when you about a year ago, maybe ish, you'd put into Gemini, show me a picture of the founding fathers of the United States, and it was a racially diverse group of women.
Are you kidding me?
Not kidding. So a lot of this has to do with how the large language models are programmed, and if they're programmed woke, they're not going to give you an answer. Is it more one of the other, I don't know if it was Gemini or ChatGPT, they were asking him, is it, which is worse, global thermonuclear war or misgendering Caitlyn Jenner? And the answer was misgendering Caitlyn Jenner.
So this artificial intelligence database, it has to draw on something. It has to
It's unregulated, right?
What's that?
Unregulated?
It draws on the internet.
It draws on the internet.
It's reading the entire internet.
Right.
Huge amount of power.
Because when we were messing with it, it definitely seemed to have a slant to it. Would you agree?
It's gotten way better.
Since 3 weeks ago, and we were messing with this, it's gotten way better.
It has.
Oh, how'd it get better?
It
Because my follow-up question is going to be, does what gets put in change the outcome?
it goes off of what it reads.
So
So if
can
the
this
patch article
manipulate
is wrong,
the truth is what I'm getting to.
it's showing you what is in the local media, the patch, the Herald. It is
So it's
reading all that
relying
stuff.
on local media
That
to
could be
give you an
wrong.
answer. Well, yeah, but which could be dramatically wrong. We
Yes.
all know how the media watch Fox, watch CNN. There's two different worlds.
Yes.
So isn't that a very, very dangerous, slippery slope we're on?
It is. And what Grok in particular, that one is supposed to be more, that's not supposed to be leaning in a certain direction. It's just giving you what's out there. Whereas other ones will selectively filter out. We're not going to let the people see this other part because we don't want them to see that part. We want them to see what we want them
Is
to
it
see.
a quantitatively decided slant? In other words, I've got 10 articles going for this direction, and there's only 2 media outlets going the other direction. Would it be based quantity wise? You could slant it and
I think so.
Grok, the ones that I use, it will give you its citations. So it will cite 20 articles or 40 articles that it got this information from. What I've done in the past for most things that I use it for, it's what's the, I don't know what the weather is going to be like tomorrow, or, what is the dosing of this medication? They're standard things that I can just look up on Google, but then Google gives you 14 different things, and you have to click on that, and then you have to read the article. Grok will just tell you the answer, which is nice.
Yeah.
Now, in some of the more ethereal kind of philosophic questions and things along those lines, you can ask Grok the question. It will give you her answer. I call her her because I listen to it. My Grok voice is Ava. My wife hates Ava.
Ava. What am I ordering? Yeah.
But then you can ask the same question to ChatGPT or ask the same question to Gemini, and then you look at the answers, or then you take Grok's answer and feed it into ChatGPT and see how does ChatGPT critique this answer. And then it gives you kind of an overall, you can get a fair and balanced answer.
Yeah. So after the podcast, we are going to put into Grok unabridged, unhinged. What is Senate bill that has to do with sanitation and food preparation?
Yeah.
And we'll see what the answer will be.
I like that.
Yeah, because that'll be interesting, right? I mean, that's where we're headed, right?
Yes.
I mean, that will.
I used those last night when I was doing a little homework. So I put in
For the podcast today?
Yeah.
Really?
So I
You
got
did homework for this?
Chat GPT. Yeah, I didn't do it in high school, but I actually will do it now.
Hey, you got to pick up your game over here,
I know,
Tyler.
I know.
Yeah.
But I used multiple ones, and it would spit out, like, I would ask it, what would be a good subject for a Will County podcast or something?
Sure.
Ask it questions like that.
What did it say?
ChatGPT sent out a whole list of. Most of it was like, we have Route 66 coming through Will County.
Yeah.
We have this in Will County. Good small towns, nice, and it kind of laid out just a general things are going on in Will County.
Yeah.
But then at the end of it always asks you, is there more that you would like me to dig into? Is there more of this? And then I did it with Gronk, and it spit out a little bit different answers than they did. But then you can be more specific, because then you can start telling them, no, I want to know more about, like with me, I was checking in like all the warehouses that are in Will County now.
Okay.
So it spit out, what would you like to know about them? And I put in, how did we get in the situation that we have thousands upon thousands of semis tearing our roads up every day, ruining Will County? How did we let this happen? And one would spit out these answers, and one would spit out these type of answers, and they were somewhat similar to what they were spitting out.
Money?
It, without using names, basically it said, Will County Board did everything they could to make it as easy as possible for these big corps to come in and start throwing these warehouses in. They bent rules. They did whatever they could to make sure that these people came here and built these warehouses on the premise that you're going to have tons of new jobs. Farmland collects almost no taxes. You're going to get all this extra tax money, blah, blah, blah. And so municipalities like Elwood and Wilmington and Joliet and Romeoville, everybody, Bolingbrook, starts throwing these things in everywhere. And then next thing you know, the farmland's all getting eaten up. You got semi-traffic up the hind end. You can't even drive on 55 or 80 anymore. It's the two. It was, again, it was in some of the information I got on there. It said 55 through our area, Will County, and Route 80 coming through our county is the two most dangerous roads in the whole state.
Isn't that something?
Through our area. There's more deaths, more wrecks, more all that, and it's mostly generated by the semi-traffic.
Sure, I'm sure it is.
And that was one of the downfalls of allowing all this. And like in Wilmington, they destroyed all of our roads. They destroyed 53. They're already redoing 53. And it was to the point you couldn't even drive. Well, because you drive up and down that road all day long.
Quite a bit.
And you couldn't even drive on it. You couldn't drive in the right lane because it was so torn up from the semi-traffic.
Got a little story about that. About 53. I was in your restaurant having lunch, and a young gentleman came back, and he was the manager of that project from the construction company that had that project to restore.
To resurface?
Yeah. And I said, I have a question. Now, you guys dug down and about 12 inches, but you filled that back up with about 8 inches of blacktop. Instead of, why didn't we just make it all concrete, make it last longer? You know what he said?
Money.
This is a patch.
Yeah.
They've already decided that in 8 years, they're going to tear it up and rebuild the whole thing again.
Really?
So we're patching it for now.
Band-aids.
Band-aids.
Instead of
Well, it was a
tourniquet.
crappy job. You know, I mean, I just drove on it, I think a couple days ago, and I told my wife, I said, because we were gone through some of the time when they were doing it, but as we were driving, because my son lives in Manhattan, so we're up and down that
Sure.
road all the time.
Sure.
And I'm like, man, they're doing just a really crappy job.
Patch. It's a patch.
Yeah.
Instead
Yeah.
of doing it right
Exactly.
and being
kicking-
done with it.
Kicking the can down the road.
There you go, kicking it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Obamacare, speaking of Obamacare and the health care, they want to just kick that can down the road 3 years. That's the Democrat answer.
Yep.
You know, let's just kick that can.
Well, they're
Hey,
hoping the Democrats to be running things by then. They don't have to do
Well,
anything.
well,
Won't even come up again.
if Trump don't learn to play a little nicer. Look, we all think we're in a much better place now than if Kamala Harris was president.
Oh yeah.
And
That goes without saying.
Fall on my knees every day and thank God that we did not allow her to be elected our president.
Can you just imagine?
No, I can't even imagine.
If you like what you heard, please hit the like button and remember to subscribe if you want to be notified for when part 2 of today's episode airs.